Hey y'all, welcome back to Poplar Creek Farm. I know it's been a bit since I did a video. It has been just very busy. You think I'm gonna feed you? They instantly start following. My posse. Yeah, it's just been very busy. I have been working 5 days a week most weeks, and just working a lot. Busier days. So I haven't had as much time. My son plays soccer, and so we've had games and practice, and so it's just been busy. And I'm just trying to get used to the busy again, with work and stuff. I obviously in the winter and in the summer, everything I'm working like 2 days a week. So going back to 5 days a week right now has just been kind of tiring. Just not used to it. But yeah, everything's been good. I wanted to give you guys some update on the piglets. Hi, Mama. You got your babies out? They're so crazy. You gonna eat the stick? Are they doing so good, Mama? Big yawn. I know, it's tiring being a mama, huh? They're gonna be all sorts of noisy in the background just because they think if I'm down here, I must be bringing food. Huh, Mirabelle? That's what you think too. Piglets are all doing well. All the pigs are doing well. All the animals are doing well. This past weekend, we actually castrated the males, and I didn't do a video of it. I would like to in the future, but this was my very first time doing castration, and I was so nervous about it. It was a whole process. So we had to get Isabella out of where the piglets are so that we could grab the males, because we knew they were gonna squeal and scream, and she was gonna get very protective, as I would hope she would be. So we moved her and Mirabelle both all the way to the furthest pasture, and then we had our tractor set here, and we had the engine running on like a high level. I don't know what it's called, the RPMs or whatever, was high, so it was really loud, and that helped to kind of, when they did squeal, she couldn't hear it as much. So we castrated. There's 4 male piglets, so they are all barrows now, which means they no longer have their testicles. And it was extremely intimidating doing that process. I was so nervous about it. My husband helped. My neighbor was going to help, but she ended up going out of town. So my husband helped, and he was like, I knew I was going to get roped into this. He did not want to be a part of that. But he just held for me, and I watched 1,000,001 videos to try to figure out like how to do it and make sure it was done as safely as possible. And that was on Sunday. And I mean, today's Thursday. They're all doing super well. They don't seem to be in any pain. They healed up beautifully. I've kept an eye on them just for like risk, because there is the risk of herniation afterwards, infection, obviously. But they're doing great. They're eating. Obviously, they're still feeding on Mama. They're 3.5 weeks old, almost 4 weeks old. So Mama's still feeding them as their primary, but they are eating grain. They are eating hay. They're eating grass. They're crazy. Little zoomies. They're so funny. And as of right now, they're all going to go as feeders. I don't see any gilts that are really meeting breed standards. This little orange one, maybe. I'm keeping an eye on her, but I'm not super optimistic yet that any of them are going to go as breeders. There was one boar that really did look like he was going to be the top for breed quality, but I didn't want to. I'm just going to the bathroom. I didn't want to risk having a boar kept intact and then not being able to sell him as a breeder, because boars don't sell quite as well. So if you think about it, for every 4 or 5 sows gilts you have, you only need 1 boar. Obviously, if you're trying to mix genetics and do different genetic lines, you need more, but for the most part, people only have 1 boar, maybe 2 on their property, unless they are a big operation. So you don't need as many boars as you need gilts or sows. They're playing and attacking each other. You're knocking the one over. They're really rough with each other. It's really cute. But we just didn't want to keep a boar and then have to possibly castrate him when he's older, because it's obviously much harder at that point. Mama, are you tired? Couple more weeks. They keep all rolling over. They're so goofy. So we plan on keeping them all together with Mama for probably at least 6 weeks total. So she's got at least 2.5 more weeks. And depending on how the piglets are doing at that point, we'll decide if we want to start weaning or if we want to wait another week or two. 6 to 8 weeks is typical for weaning of these pigs, this breed. So, we've got a little time, and they will go to their new homes, hopefully around 8 to 10 weeks old. If one of the gilts is looking good for breeding quality, what we will do is we will keep her a little bit longer, and just to be able to evaluate her fully and then decide for sure that the breed quality. Again, as of right now, I'm not convinced that any of the gilts are super good for breeding or anything. You guys are crazy. Are you guys goofy goobers? Hi, Mama. You want to be the center of attention? Are you guys eating in the mud over there? You playing in the mud? Hey, Mama. Oops. I don't want that on me. Thank you. Yuck. You're all muddy. Since I did my last video, you can see in the beginning of this video, those were kind of just like little bits that I filmed on different days. When I was out taking care of the animals and things. But we've had hard freezes, really hard freezes. I think one morning we woke up, it was like 21 degrees. So it's been very cold overnight. Chickens. We've had freezing rain. It's been a little yucky. That's why the mud is starting to get really bad in here. You can see there's still grass back there. They don't really venture back there a ton. And our pastures over here are really good, except for this front area, which always is what gets muddy in the wintertime. Mirabelle's laying down by her hay. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move when we wean. I'm gonna move Mirabelle and Isabella back into that third pasture, the furthest one away, so that she's not right next to her piglets, or piglets aren't trying to get to her. We move Mama away from piglets because piglets will try to go back to Mama if that's where they were. If they're by themselves, they most of the time will stay better. Is the thought process on that. Like, that's what a lot of people do, is they take Mama away. The piglets will stay in the fenced area and Mama will go back out to pasture. And they'll stay out there for probably a month or so before we decide to rebreed her. Let her body, rest and everything, and then we'll rebreed her. We'll put Bruno back in with the two of them over there. Our hope is still that Mirabelle will get bred, but it's just not looking like that's going to be the case, unfortunately. The ducky-doos are still enjoying the little water we have. The one day, Sir Whitingale came down, he was walking down here and it was ice. And he walked out on it and couldn't figure out how to stand up and couldn't figure out how to get, break the ice or anything. So he was slipping and sliding all around. I had to come down and break up the ice for him. Mr. Brunster Rooney, he hangs out in this corner. This is his corner. Yes, this is your corner where you hang out. Don't shock yourself. You're gonna shock yourself. Stop it. The honeybees are also hanging out here because there's some feed. But he hangs out here watching Isabella and the piglets all day long. I know, I scared you. I'm sorry. It's all right, Brune. His pasture is very muddy, so I'm ready to get him off of it, but we can't until the piglets are weaned and he's ready to rebreed Isabella. And I will, come springtime, I will reseed these pastures again, especially this one. This one didn't get reseeded this year at all because it was so overgrown and we didn't have pigs in there at that time. Chicken's going crazy. So this one doesn't have good pasture mix on it. It's just the grass that grows back here, whereas the other ones all have good pasture mix, but we will reseed all of them just to be safe. And Bruno's pasture also, we seeded it a little bit, but it wasn't really broken up enough. It was still a lot of goldenrod at that time, so it didn't really take because the goldenrod just choked everything out. So that'll get reseeded. I typically order from Nature Seed for a pasture mix, and I've always ordered the goat pasture mix because they didn't have a pig one, and it worked great. you know, we've had great success with it, really good growth. The clover grows really well. There's peas in it, just like almost like a lettuce type thing. I don't even know actually what it is, but it grows really well. But they now have a pig mix as well, and so I can't wait to order that and try that one this year and see how that does. But over time, as long as we're able to give these pastures rest, they will continue to grow, and I won't need as much seed each year. It's just developing those pastures, you know, up front that takes time and money to get them where we want. But hopefully we can get them all beautified a bit. All the piglets just went running. So as you see, the piglets have figured out rooting, and yes, IPPs don't root as much. They still do root some, and part of them figuring that out is just they're young, and that's normal. It's also this time of year, there's not as much nutrients in the grass. Actually, there's very little at this point because of the frost and everything. So they root to find the minerals and the nutrients. So it's fairly normal at this age for them to root, but we'll keep an eye on, obviously, if they need more minerals in their diet to prevent rooting. But this age is just somewhat normal. So thank you guys for hanging out with me on this little update video. I hope to try to do videos at least once a week, but like I said, life is just busy right now, and it just is what it is. It's also the slow season for the farm, so there's not as much to do, and not as much to share. But thank you guys, and remember, we're going today for a better tomorrow. Please like and subscribe, and join me on the next one.